A lot of my clients ask themselves and me who they are in terms of their psychoanalytic diagnostics. Let's discuss about that for 10 minutes. We all know that there are different classifications of characters. Before we are gonna talk about these classifications of characters, we have to understand that there are different levels of traumatization. This traumatization, in understanding of contemporary psychodynamic approaches, for instance by Nancy McWilliams, mean that there is psychotic level, borderline level, and neurotic level. This is number one, like axis. The second one are different types or different adaptations or needs that are in the core of this character. For instance, schizoid character, safety and the need to be safe. Hysteroid and his need to be loved, to be appreciated. Narcissistic character, not narcissistic personality disorder, but narcissistic character, which could be at psychotic level, borderline level, and neurotic level, and the need to be recognized, recognition, to be number one, to be the best, and other types. Depressive, masochistic, obsessive compulsive. We are gonna talk a lot about different traits, character traits, using the classification of Nancy McWilliams, and we're gonna say, okay, Bree, obsessive compulsive, maybe some narcissistic traits, character traits. Lynette could be narcissistic, could be epileptoid. Gabrielle Solis could be narcissistic or hysteroid. Bree could be antisocial type. Rex could be narcissistic or masochistic type. Karl Mayer could be narcissistic type, for instance. And we could explore these different types. What we have to understand is that, okay, there is this classification, but this doesn't mean that this is like, especially if it's borderline level or neurotic level, that it's not okay. Everything is okay if I'm responsible, if I am knowledgeable, aware about these mind characteristics. I can see my bottlenecks and preferably be ethical and moral in terms of communicating with others, socializing with others, building my relationships. For instance, in narcissistic way, not to use people, like use metaphorically object-object relationship, subject-object relationships, but more like respect them, be in contact with them, take care of them, of people around. So this is important to understand. So the question, who am I, is less important if you are in therapy, if you are working on healing traumas that you got. Okay, if you are at psychotic level or borderline level, and there are issues that you constantly see, well, this could be frustrating, and what you have to do is basically to continue being in therapy. Continue being in therapy. And for narcissistic character, for instance, it is extremely difficult. There are two American psychoanalytics who contributed a lot to the treatment of narcissistic patients, Kernberg and Kohut. These two, they have different paradigms, but idea is there is some deficit of love, and you have to either provide love to the patient and at the same time to develop relationships, this contact. For narcissistic borderline level, it takes a significant amount of time, and we have to be aware about that. No fast solutions here, and this is also a problem that people are unaware about these dynamics. Now, I started with the question that people ask themselves who they are. Well, that's a good question. Maybe when we're gonna look at The TV show Desperate Housewives I offer, and I'm planning to start with this one. We are gonna figure out different characters, and you could see some traits of these characters in yourself. But please remember that it is like a very responsible task to diagnose one, and only a trained clinical professional can do that. Trained clinician who could diagnose you. In any case, therapy works. Therapy is a very good investment. I think that studying different types of character could be interesting, and I'm gonna do my best in order to make this content interesting for you guys. Okay, even less than 10 minutes. We are gonna finish so far. Thank you very much for your attention, and see you in next videos on the channel. If you haven't seen the first video about Desperate Housewives, about 3 major ideas from which you have to start your self-development path, please do have a look, because this is the basis. When I'm talking about different types of character, I'm talking that there are some neurotic conflicts or some borderline problematics, but in any case we're talking about unconscious mind. We're talking about different defense mechanisms that different types use. For instance, narcissists usually use idealization as a mechanism, or projective identification, also possible. Repetition compulsion, so repetitive acts that take place, repetitive scenarios that take place in your life that also impact. Thank you very much for your attention, and see you in next videos on the channel.